Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're gonna be talking about dog interactions, all right? We are out at our property, out at our training facility. We're gonna be using a mixture of some of our personal dogs, some of our training dogs. So yes, this is kind of set up. This is not real world. We're out at a community event or a farmer's market or anything like that. The focus of today is to show you some different dogs with different temperaments to allow you to make good decisions. Whether maybe I don't let, if my dog's displaying this, I don't let them interact with people, or if they're displaying this, I do let them, or how do I do that if my dog's crazy and jumping and all that kind of stuff, right? We're gonna weigh the pros and cons of interactions and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you stay tuned for all of the dogs. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we got our first dog. We got Rampage. If you guys have tuned in, you've seen him before. This is one of my personal dogs, all right? And so I have some more intimate knowledge about him. He is a little bit of an insecure dog. So I'm already gonna be monitoring his body language, right? So his ears are back, his tail is down, right? He has been here before, but this is not like his territory or anything like that. So I know he's naturally an insecure dog. I'm not holding him to any expectations, but we're gonna approach Chad over here, who's gonna be our stranger. And right now, I'm not holding him to expectations. I wanna see how does he perceive Chad? What is his initials? So Chad engages, he goes to say hi, he's got a low tail wag. As soon as he touches him, look how the tail kind of stops wagging and it kind of tucks here. I would stop the interaction here, potentially, right? Depends. If this is the first time I've done this, I'm not sure how he's gonna react. He might be telling me he's feeling a little bit uncomfortable, right? So I could say, Rampage, come, hey, stop petting my dog for just a second, you know, and now I can get kind of a gauge, and it could be Chad's energy is weird maybe. It could be that he's got a weird energy towards Chad. I say, okay, he can choose to go, he's choosing to go back and say hi, right? So this is overall a decent interaction. You could also do things like have, go ahead, Chad.
Also putting his body up.
Yep, so he's pushing his body up against Chad, right? So that's typically a friendly gesture, right? Typically a friendly interaction, right? So he's okay with him. But you could also have, like, if you're like not sure, maybe he's a little uncomfortable, Chad could offer him some food, right? See if he takes food from him. All of that would be a good interaction. So even though he's a little bit insecure here, overall, I could allow this interaction. We're good with it. All right, we've got Ara as our next dog. So she's a pity, she's full of energy, she's ready to go. Again, with these dogs right now, I'm not holding them to any training expectations. It's just like an untrained dog. I'm walking, letting her do her thing. So Erin's gonna be our stranger. Ara's got way more energy. She's also, look at her temperament, a little more confident. Tail positioning is up. She's got that arousal wag going. Ears are kind of more so forward than pinned back like Rampage was, right? Okay, Ara. So we got Erin, our stranger. She's amped up. So look how excited Ara is getting, right? So she wants the interaction, right? But she's also jumping, okay? So right here, I might say, hey, don't pet my dog. I'm gonna hold on a second. She probably can't handle this interaction, right? Now, depends on your goals, okay? If I don't care about the jumping and she doesn't care about the jumping, maybe I'll let that, because again, it's about socialization, positive experience, a positive experience with whatever we're socializing, right? Which this can be socializing her to people, even with the jumping. But again, with a dog like ours, she's like a wrecking ball. She's gonna scratch you. She's gonna knock you over if you're a kid. So like in theory, we got some training things we wanna work on before we allow an interaction. So let's try it one more time. All right, okay. So see how she gets crazy? She starts spinning around, hitting her with her backside, right? These are all behaviors we don't necessarily want to happen out in public. So we want to teach her more to be calm amidst those interactions, which we can show you guys in a later video. So ultimately, even though she's a happy-go-lucky, wants the interaction type dog, we're gonna say no-go on this one. We got our next dog, Roxy, all right? Which she's an insecure dog, all right? So she's got a tail wag going, but it's a lower positioning. Ears are back, all right? So this is all indicating insecurity, but she is just kind of hanging out. So we're gonna come up to our stranger, Roxy, okay. So Chad's calling out to her, inviting her. She does go up to him. Look how she's a little standoffish, right? So the tail wag just got a little bit faster. That could be she's nervous, right? So that could be an indicator. If I don't know how this is gonna go, I know Chad very well, right? If I don't know him, maybe I'm gonna back off from that. Maybe I'm not gonna allow that because she's a little bit nervous. See how she's gotten rigid a little bit? That tail wag now has stopped, right? She's rigid, ears are pinned back. So this is telling me she's uncomfortable. She's willing to do the interaction. Overall, I'm probably gonna say a no-go on this one. It's fine, it went fine, but I can control my interactor here in this scenario, right? Out in the real world, I can't. When she's in that rigid posture, all it takes is for Chad to move very quickly or do something that's gonna make her uncomfortable, and then we've got a potential bad interaction. So overall, I would probably say no-go on interactions with her. I'd focus more on my training and then get into the interactions and whatnot. All right, now we've got Lucy here. All right, we're hanging out. Tail positioning, relatively low, kind of neutral, going back from neutral to being low, right? So we're approaching Chad here. Okay, Lucy, we'll see if she wants to interact. She's more interested in the dogs over here. She's doing this little sniff, kind of checking things out. So she got the tail wag, a little bit nervous. She moves away, all right? So as of right now, she's checking them out, right? So in this context, especially with an insecure dog, I'm letting her make the decision. Does she want to check them out? At first she moves away. Now she's overall kind of like turning her back to him. This could be her indicating I have no interest to interact with our stranger here. You see what I'm saying? So this would probably be a clear no-go. Okay. See how she's like kind of avoiding? She's going into a sit over here. She's just not comfortable. She's just not comfortable. She's kind of like showing some indicator she's wanting to approach, but overall, she's just not comfortable here. So a lot of times people have the temptation here to try to, come on, it's okay, and they force this interaction, right? With a dog like Lucy, that's not gonna be a good idea. With a dog like Lucy, best bet, I'm gonna say no go on the interaction. I'm gonna focus on my training and get her to where I can hold her to some expectations and then slowly work on our person-to-person interactions. Next, we got Toby, all right? Very similar here, tail positioning is down here. He's sniffing the ground, doing what the dachshunds do, you know what I'm saying? All right, coming up to our stranger, okay. He gets a little excited. We're getting an arousal tail wag. He's moving towards our distraction, right? He's moving towards our stranger. This is telling us, hey, he's interested in this interaction. So here is he's a good wiener. He's a good wiener. All right, so that overall good interaction. I'm gonna allow that interaction. All right, Dad puts him down and he's kind of like hanging out, whatever. All right, so still a little bit of insecurity, right? So tail positioning still down. So like just because you see insecurity doesn't mean we're gonna be like, oh no petting, right? It could be very beneficial to them, but overall, especially in this context where I'm not putting them into some type of structure, training or whatever, I'm just letting the dogs be dogs, let them do their things, make their own decisions. I want them to be more actively seeking that engagement, right? That's how we know that's gonna be overall a good interaction versus them starting to avoid, right? We'll show you guys one more next. All right, last puppy, we're gonna show you Earl, all right? So let's look at his tail positioning. Tail positioning is up. Generally, that's gonna be confidence, right? So he's still a puppy. He's got some energy. He's interested in the dogs back here. Okay, Earl, so we got two strangers here. We're gonna see if he's interested. He is, so he goes over here to Aaron. He doesn't jump, so we're good to go there. He did do a little bit of nipping, right? So if that's something I wanna get control of, I do wanna be mindful of that. So he's kind of hitting his side, just like kind of what we saw with Rampage, right? Hitting his side into her. This is overall friendly. He has no interest in Chad over here, right? Earl.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Doesn't care about Chad. There it is. All right, so same thing. Overall, we're seeing pretty friendly behavior. No jumping, little bit of nipping stuff. Like I said, that once we get training in place, we can correct that, right? Be the same for jumping. So this is a good example of a confident dog that wants the interaction, just like we saw with Ara, but with Ara, she was bringing too much energy. We had to shut that down, right? Where with Earl, pretty good interaction overall, right? You add some structure and it'll be pretty close to perfect. All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this helps in assessing some body language, whether or not we would or would not allow our dogs to interact.